Gabriel Hirschberger. I'm the host of the 20 Mile March podcast, where we talk to entrepreneurs and marketers and people who are starting off in their journey in starting a small business. Today, I am so honored to talk with Mary Kathryn Johnson, and we're going to be talking about Facebook marketing using Messenger Chatbots. And we're also going to be talking about the mindset that entrepreneurs need to have, and talk about the long-term vision of perseverance and continuing trying different things until something really clicks. And we're also going to be talking about her story of how many things that she's done and tried along the way. And it's been such a good time talking with you already, Mary Kathryn. And so thanks I want to welcome you for first off and introduce you to my audience. And so because you are an amazing person. So thanks for being here.
Oh, that's so sweet, Gabriel. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking me and offering to share the microphone with me. I can't wait to chat about this stuff. As you know already, we've had a great time chatting already. But it's such a dynamic topic. All the things that you just mentioned, and I cannot wait to dive in and just start taking bites of it and chew it up and see what happens. Yeah.
So I want to can we do like the 30,000 foot overview of sort of the businesses that you've started along the way, real briefly, so that people can understand that you have gained a lot of knowledge along the way. And I want to show some respect for that.
Thank you.
You know a lot.
I know a lot, and I know what I don't know.
Yeah,
is much more broad. Well, thank you. I will definitely do that, and I will give you like the quick little scenario, almost like storytelling. All right, so let's start the story. Not at the beginning of my life, obviously. That would take us a long time, but at the beginning of what started this entrepreneurial journey. And I've got to start back. It started because of pregnancy. And basically, my husband and I had been married 15 years before we started to think about having children. Yes, I was married quite young. But we finally started to think about having children, and I come from a large Italian family, and most of the women in my family didn't even have to think about getting pregnant, and it happened. So for me, I thought it was just going to happen, and we're just going to start having kids, and it didn't. It took us a year to get pregnant the first time, and then I had a miscarriage. And then it took us another year to get pregnant after that, and I had another miscarriage almost to the day of the first. Wow. And I kept thinking to myself, what the heck is wrong? What is wrong with my body? What am I doing wrong? And finally got pregnant a couple months later, and this one stuck. And I felt like I had finally passed the toughest class I'd ever taken in college. That's really what it felt like. I'd spent 2 years studying for this, trying to figure this out, and it finally happened. And I was so excited. I don't know why, but I got this idea to go to my Windows 98 computer and type out on Excel a report card. And basically it said, the report card, fall semester report card. And the first class was Pregnancy 101. And I finally passed that class. I got an A+. And the second class was Pregnancy Prevention 101. And I finally failed that class. I've never been so excited about failing a class before. And so I took that spreadsheet, I printed it out, and I brought it to one of those t-shirt makers in the mall, right? That put numbers on jerseys. And I bought a blank white shirt at Target, and I brought that design, that printout, it was just a printout, to this printer. And I said, can you put this on this? And they said yes. And half an hour later, I had a shirt with that report card on it. I was so excited. I started wearing that shirt immediately because I wanted everyone to know that I finally failed pregnancy prevention. And I got comments like you would not believe. And I got the idea I could do this as a business. I could actually create these shirts. And before I could do anything with that, I went into early labor and was hospitalized to stop the labor. And from then on, I was on bed rest, and just then the baby comes and life happens, and I forget all about this. The second pregnancy, 3 years later, I pull out that shirt. I'm like, oh, that's right. And I start wearing it and I get the same response. And I start thinking about designs and thinking about all kinds of ideas. And then I was walking out my neighbor's front door and I fell and broke both my legs at 8 months pregnant. And I had a cast up to the knee on both legs. One was pink, the other one was blue because we didn't know the sex of the baby. So we had to have fun with it.
Oh my gosh.
And so I got to deliver the baby with casts up to the knee.
Wow.
And I didn't get those casts off until the baby was about 6 weeks old. And that really, going through that experience.
Oh my gosh.
It was, I got to tell you, it was one of the most pivotal moments of my life. Yeah. But I got through it with my sense of humor intact. And I said to myself, if I can do this, I can do anything. And so I grabbed onto that whole t-shirt idea and I ran with it. And there were no online maternity stores. And this was 2003. And so I said, I could be the first. I could do this. And I did it. And I did everything. Absolutely everything. Luckily, my previous life, the one I was in when I was pregnant, was a technical recruiter. So I had a lot of tech guys that I could tap for information. So I asked them, what should I do if I wanted to do this? And they all told me what to do and how to do it. And so I did it. I created the website. I did everything. And I launched in November of 2003. And it just went up from there. Everything was wonderful. And I was learning all kinds of things and doing everything myself, packaging every single order, communicating with every single client. And I got to the point where I was up to about $70,000 in revenue. And again, every single $35 shirt to get there, I touched every part of that process. So, and I was also raising my 18-month-old and 3-year-old at the time. So most of my work would happen at night when they were asleep or when they took naps during the day. And I would stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning.
You were hustling.
Get up the next day. I'm telling you, that was exactly what I was doing. And I did everything. And then finally the recession hit and I had to restructure and figure out what I'm doing. And I made lots of mistakes there. I just invested more money and thought I'd just throw money at this and it'll
This is
get
like
better.
08, 09?
Yep, 08 and 09, and then 010, or not 010, 2010. And I just kept doing that, kept throwing money at it, kept trying new things. I wouldn't give it up because basically my idea was if this business fails, then that means I'm a failure. Because I was personally identified with it. That it was, my identity was wrapped up in this business. Finally, my accountant came to me and said, why are you holding on to this dying thing? And I looked at him and said that very thing. I said, because if it fails, that means I'm a failure. And he said to me the wisest words that I'd heard thus far, which were, you are not your business.
Right.
And that was the slap I needed. And I gave him a big sloppy wet kiss because he happens to also be my husband.
Oh.
And I said, all right, what do we need to do? I'll let go of it. And so we liquidated assets, paid off all of our debt, because by that time I was about over $40,000 in debt, and paid it all off with my 401ks and, everything that I had, and turned around and said, what do I do now? And I, in the meantime, during that time, I'd also written a book about that experience. And I thought, well, I wrote that book and I self-published it. And again, same thing with Mommy Loves. I did everything myself. I formatted the book myself. I did the cover. I did everything again myself. And I figured out how to self-publish. This is right in the beginning of CreateSpace and Amazon being able to self-publish. That was right at the beginning of when all that happened.
Okay.
And so people started asking me, how did you do that? And so I started self-publishing people's books for them.
Okay.
Found out very quickly that I did not like formatting. That was not what I wanted to do with my day, was go through characters and make sure the lines were lined up. That's not what I like. Quickly decided that wasn't the case. And during that time, I also started a podcast because people were also asking me, how are you raising kids at the same time as you're building this business? And so I started a podcast called Parent Entrepreneur Power. And that was the first podcast basically talking about parenting and business and how they are similar and how you can do both at the same time and be successful. And I was lucky enough to get some big name people on that podcast in the early days before podcasting was really exploding. And so then I started consulting with people. And so Mommy Loves was kind of chugging along on its own. I outsourced everything. I did not touch Mommy Loves at all. outsourced it all. So it was still kind of chugging along a little bit on its own, but I just wasn't doing anything. I stopped the self-publishing because wasn't something I liked doing at all. And I turned my attention to podcasting and consulting. And that's how I made a living for about 2 or 3, probably more like 3 or 4 years, the last 3 or 4 years since 2013. That's what I was doing. And then all of a sudden, I got an email from somebody I followed online named Andrew Warner of Mixergy. And he started talking about this whole 80% open rates and 60% click-through rates. And wouldn't I love to have that? And I said, yeah, I would. And he said, come on a webinar with me. And I said, okay, even with no intention of ever attending, because I'm so over free webinars trying to get me into their world.
Sucked into their funnels. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I did anyway. And because I was interested, he hooked me in good. And I just happened to be available at the time the webinar was starting. So I just went ahead and got on the webinar, and I stopped everything and just was absolutely consumed by this idea. And it was the exact same it just took me over the same way that Mommy Loves did in 2003. This was new. This was exciting. There was possibility. I was totally just enamored by this whole thing. Same with Mommy Loves. I was just consumed, is the only word I can use, by the concept of doing this. And I just had that feeling of being overwhelmed that this is really what I need to do next. And I kept asking Andrew, so how much would you charge to create these Messenger? And of course, all he talked about was chatbots. But I saw very clearly it wasn't just chatbots. It was marketing. And this was just the next delivery method instead of email. So I kept asking him on this webinar, because it was a live webinar. It wasn't pre-recorded or anything like that. I was lucky enough to be on a live webinar with him. And I said, how much would you charge to do this for people, to create these things for people? And he kept kept dodging that question because it was so new, nobody knew.
Yeah. He didn't
and
know.
I just kept pushing him. What would you charge? What would you charge? And finally, after the third time I asked, he finally, to get me off the chat, because it was live, right? He finally just threw a number out, I think, and said, well, probably it would be about $1,000 to do this. I'm like, okay. I grabbed that number and I would not let it go. And I had that in my mind. And in this time, I don't usually pay for courses. I usually try and find all my knowledge online for free and go through people's information. I'll give them information. I'll give them money for, whatever small course they might offer to indoctrinate me into what they're doing. But I'm not paying $2,000 for anything. And this is what Andrew was charging for his course, $2,000. And that was just like, I cannot justify going into debt to buy this course. And so he was requiring a $400 deposit to just get on the phone with him to see if you would be qualified to take his course. Okay, that's how new this was, right?
Yeah.
And so I put down my refundable made sure it was refundable, $400 deposit to get on the phone with Andrew Warner, which I thought was just incredible to begin with, that I would actually get on the phone with him.
Yeah. So cool.
And that was going to be in 2 days. And so I said to myself, all right, Mary, he gave me enough information to actually go into the back end of ChatFuel and create a rudimentary bot. And so I did that. I just created a test bot, and I knew I had 2 days to see if this was viable. So I went to my network in Facebook and I just started talking to my friends saying, what are you doing? And there were a couple of people that were talking about, this was February of 2017. So it was in the beginning of launch season, right? Right after the first of the year, before spring, people are launching their courses, taking advantage of people's New Year's resolutions. And a couple of them were doing that. And they were saying, I'm trying to launch my course. And last year it did great and everything was wonderful. I made lots of money, but this year nobody's biting, nobody's doing it. I'm like, oh no, what are you doing? So I asked, can we get on a call? Maybe I can help. Because we had a little bit of a relationship. I had talked to these people in a podcast, and because I had interviewed them on my podcast, and they said, yeah, let's get on a call. And so through that call, I asked them questions. What are you doing with marketing? Oh, I'm doing email and I'm doing my normal funnel, but nobody's opening my messages and nobody's clicking through to my sales page, and I don't know what's wrong. And I said, you know what? There's this new thing that I just learned about that's on Messenger, and you're using Facebook Messenger to do the same thing instead of email, then Messenger. Can I show you what I'm talking about? And they said, yeah. And I sent them to my little rudimentary bot that I just created. And they said, oh my God, are you kidding? can you do this? And I said, yes, I can do this. I'm learning how to do this. And they said, can you do it for me? And I said, yes, I can do it for you. And I said, it will only cost you $1,000.
Yeah.
And they said, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I love it.
And I went, okay.
Oh my gosh.
So I just pre-sold 2 of these things before I even knew how to do it. And I said, that's it. This is it. This is real.
Yeah.
This can happen.
Yeah.
And I took that $2,000 that I just earned and turned it over to Andrew and learned about bots, learned about that, and took my marketing knowledge that I had accumulated over the last 14 years and turned it into bots and Messenger. And I have just not looked back. I've had to just hold on in this rocket ship. And now 2018, I'm actually starting to figure out how to build a steering wheel to steer this rocket ship. But in the meantime, I've just been holding on and just accepting whatever comes my way and running with it. And I've just had a blast. So that's kind of the journey, is going from pregnancy to chatbots.
That's a great really And I also took Andrew's class, and then that's how I first heard your name. And you were like famous because everybody was like, Mary Kathryn, she sold 2 of these things for $1,000 each. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what I want to do. I want to be her. And so I love hearing the story.
Well, you need to be in your 50s and have 2 kids and be married for 35 years before you can be me. So sorry. I'm already taken. You got to be you.
We all want to take those shortcuts, right? We all just want to be like, oh, okay, well, scaling 6 to 7 figures, like, yeah, like, because the ads that I get hooked into are like, would you like to scale your business 10x this year? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like more revenue? Like, yeah. Like, do you hate money? I'm like, no, I don't. No. Sorry. So I want to talk about that a little bit because what I found that's working for me recently has been that getting on the phone to the people that I know in my warm network and just saying, hey, what have you been up to? It's great this is what I'm doing. I'm into these chatbots and messenger marketing. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm not really sure what that is. And it gives me an opportunity to talk about that with them. And it's been great and it's been a lot more fun than trying to build up this like an online course or a webinar, which is what everybody's telling me, the gurus, which I have the greatest respect for. They are the ones, they've worked so hard. They've built a huge audience, right? And so we spoke earlier about drinking the Kool-Aid and maybe how that's maybe not the best thing to do in that so I wanted to ask you your thoughts about when people are buying lots and lots of courses and consuming content. Is that what they should be doing to move their small business forward? Gabriel, I have a very strong feeling about this topic. And I got to tell you, I've been there. When I first started, yes, the reason Mommy Loves was successful is because I put my head down and worked. I took action. I put my head down and worked, and I brought my head up when I had a problem, one specific problem that I needed, a credit card processor. Okay, I got to search now and consume and find out how to do that. But then I put my head back down again and do the work and actually act. So that's why Mommy Loves was so successful so quickly, is because I consumed only what I needed. And I was lucky at the time that there were not a lot of squirrels in this tree. Okay. There were not a lot of squirrels in this online tree. The gurus didn't exist yet because this was 2003, right? They were learning along with me. So if I were smart at that time and I had a mindset that was different, if I had my same mindset now back in 2003, I would have become an online guru about t-shirt making, right? Yeah.
Because I would have had that experience. I would have had that knowledge. I would have had that success. I would have built that audience around it, but I didn't. I stayed head down doing the work. And that's awesome because it allowed me to learn a lot. I wasn't ready yet in a mindset to do that. There were other people doing that, and more power to them. But after that, I started learning and growing and consuming, and I was looking for the next thing because once the recession hit, I was desperate. I was lost. I didn't know what I was going to do next because the business that I'd identified myself with was dying, and I was looking around for the next thing that I was going to do. So I switched from a production mode to a consumption mode, and I started consuming everything and not producing anything. And that's where I went through my Kool-Aid phase and totally drank everything I was given and went, oh, wow, maybe I should do passive income. And I'll just go put up a page and sell somebody else's products. And then I'll just get a piece of it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Affiliate marketing.
But I didn't have the audience to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't have you can't do both at the same time. You can't build the audience and sell stuff.
No.
Because you don't have anybody to sell to. So, but I was being told all the other things like just build a course or just put up this page and people will come and buy. And I didn't hear whether they told me or not. I don't know. I guess I'm not going to blame anyone else, but I didn't hear you need an audience first. You need someone to listen to what you have to say. And so I kept searching, and luckily, I'm very lucky that I landed on podcasts. One of the things that people were telling me, Pat Flynn especially, because I love him, he's such a sweetheart. He was saying, do a podcast. Here's how you can do a podcast. And it's wonderful and it's fun. And I hated my voice, absolutely hated my voice. I thought, oh, nobody's going to want to hear my voice. It's terrible. Oh my gosh. And I got to tell you, I know you're shaking your head. People compliment me constantly on my voice. I know.
You got a great voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But at the beginning, especially, I was like, oh, it's awful. We never like to hear sound of our own voices.
I know,
at least most of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and even though everyone was telling me how wonderful my voice was. And so now I accept it. Yes, my voice is wonderful. I have a great microphone. That's why.
No, stop. You have a great voice.
I'm kidding. I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I stumbled on podcasts, and that was something one of the squirrels I followed, and I did, and it was at a perfect time. So if you notice, there's a pattern that I've done, right? The first one was I was the first one to be a maternity store.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to capitalize on that in a scaling concept, right? My mindset wasn't there yet. I needed to learn more lessons. Then I wrote a book, and I was in the beginning of self-publishing. But again, I needed to learn more lessons.
Yeah.
And then I was at the beginning of podcasting. I needed to learn more lessons.
Yeah.
Now I'm at the beginning of chatbots. I've learned most of the lessons. Now I can put them to fruition, and I can create success from this. So yes, you're drinking the online Kool-Aid. And to answer your question, the only Kool-Aid you should drink, the only squirrel you should follow is the one specific squirrel you need right now to take action.
Yep.
And it shouldn't be a 6-month course. It shouldn't be a humongous mastermind to learn all about how to build a business. It should be, because you can find all kinds. I guarantee you there's no one in the audience right now that has no clue how to do anything. They've found you because they've searched and you're speaking their language already, right? They already know they're an entrepreneur, or at least think they are, and they know a little bit about how to build a business. Basic stuff, how to talk to people, how to blog, how to create social media posts, whatever, to build an audience. Please only consume.
And this little thing called Google that you can just look things up, right? I don't know if you've heard of it.
I think I have. And what about Bing? I mean, no, Bing's nowhere near Google, but still, if you're a Microsoft person, go for it. But yeah, you can find all the information you need, but please only look at the information that you need right now in order to act.
Yeah. You gave some advice earlier before the recording, was that just do the 3 things that you need to do today. So
that's where I'm getting to. So basically, if you want to look at, think of it as you're planning a trip. And I know you've heard this analogy before. You're creating a roadmap. Okay. That's one of the key words, the buzzwords that a lot of the gurus say. I've got your roadmap, right? So you look at your own roadmap and you think, where am I going? And if you know you want to build a business and you know you have certain knowledge in a certain topic, let's say for me, chatbots, and you and I for chatbots, we know this. And what do we want to do with that? Well, I want to create chatbots for businesses. All right. So there's my destination, right? There's where I need to go. But I can't just jump there. I can't just transport myself. We don't have that technology yet to be able to immediately transport there. So I got to take step by step. I got to build the map. I've got to know which road I'm going to take. I need to know which market I can serve so that I can build these chatbots the best for that particular market. So if I have a general roadmap, I'm not going to jump there. I need to start with one little baby step. So tomorrow morning, I know I want to build chatbots. What are the 3 things I need to do right now that will take me the next step on that journey of that roadmap to build chatbots? And depending on where I am, if I'm just now learning about chatbots and I don't know a lot about marketing, then one of those 3 things needs to be understand more about marketing.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I have to take a huge course on marketing, right? Mm-hmm. It means I need to consume one piece of information about marketing that makes me understand it more. And that's one of those 3 things. The other 2 things might be doing some social media posts or asking people, what do you know about chatbots? And seeing what I get. So 3 things only every single day that you need to, and they're actions. They're not just consuming. Something has to be an action in there. Mm-hmm. 3 things. And the next morning, you'll find yourself a little closer. Or you might have opened a door you didn't know existed yet. And then now you're changing your roadmap a little bit and tweaking your direction by 10%. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. You won't know that until you start taking action and start figuring out where it is you want to go. But don't be overwhelmed with taking one huge course or 5 different courses. 3 things only. What do I need to do right now? And if I need to consume something, to take action on one of those things right now, just to consume that one little thing, not 5 things.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. One of the mantras that the foundation talked about a lot in the 2017 class was that action is the answer, honesty is the way. Action is the answer, honesty is the way. Yep. So that if you don't know, they're like, hey, can you help me with SEO? I'll be like, no, I don't know, but I know I'll ask my community and I will find out who can help you with SEO, and not make it up if I really can't help them with something like, I don't know how to bake bread, but I'll find somebody who can, or I'll find the best bread that's in the area,
a resource. Yeah.
A resource for you. Mm-hmm. So
I did that just yesterday, Gabriel. Yesterday I was talking to someone and they were talking about possibly having me build some chatbots for them or messenger marketing for them. And they asked, so can you teach me how to do Facebook ads? Maybe you could just show me, share your screen with me and talk me through how to do Facebook ads. And I said, wait a minute. I'm sorry, but I am not a Facebook ads expert. I have someone on my team who could maybe do that for you, but I cannot do that for you right now. I can stumble my way through, but that would be detrimental to you. That would not be serving you very well at all for me to just stumble my way through it for you. So I can put you in touch with the gal on my team and she can help you, but no, I can't do that. And to have the integrity and get over our fear that we might lose that client because we don't know.
Right.
I'm fine with losing that client because that's not the right client for me. If they only want Facebook ads, that's not my client because I'm done. So that's one of the things, if you're listening to this right now and you're still struggling and trying to figure out what do you want to do, if you're going to pick Facebook ads, then pick them and go with them. But if you've picked chatbots and then someone asks you about Facebook ads and then you switch direction, you're no longer doing chatbots. You're now doing Facebook ads. And I'm here to tell you, you cannot do it all by yourself.
No.
You can't. So then you can hire someone to do the chatbots for you if you're going to focus on Facebook ads. But make that choice. Don't think you can just switch back and forth. You can't. Mm-hmm. You do have to focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. That's a very good book. The One Thing.
The One Thing, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Gary Keller?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. I believe that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Amazing book.
So this is so good. I want to talk next about a case study or an example of how somebody could use a chatbot. Chatbots are still so new for people, and they're like, I don't know. I've interacted with one maybe, but I'm not really sure how it could help my business. And so I know you have a lot of real world experiences already. And so I just want to try to get real practical in what you have seen, what you've been able to accomplish, just an example of that could be applicable for somebody to use in their business who's not really sure what a chatbot is and how awesome and effective they are.
Okay. Yes, I could talk. Okay. I'm going to have to limit myself on this one because I could talk all day long on this subject. So I need some focus from you. So first off, tell me a little bit more in your audience. What do you think that focus should be? Are they brand new and don't have an audience at all on their own? Do they have an existing business? What?
Can we talk? How about lead generation with chatbots using like Facebook ad that would click over to Messenger for a chatbot? Is that a good example?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. So you're just building your list, right? You're basically trying to find the people who need what you have, or you're trying to find people to ask them what they need so you can build what they need, right? Whatever that might be, but you're trying to gather leads. You're trying to build your list. I know everyone in the audience has heard of building your list, but what you've heard it in relation to is email, right?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about Messenger. And you can do the exact same thing in Messenger that you did in email. You can build a Messenger list. And these are people interested in what you have to say, period. So yes, we can do Facebook ads straight into Messenger, just like we do Facebook ads straight to a landing page to get an email. We can do the same thing in Messenger. However, the barriers to entry are almost, you can just step over them. They're an inch tall. Okay. Yeah. There's no barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's basically just a click. They don't have to type in their name. They don't have to type in their email address. They don't have to then go to their email and verify that that's them. All those steps are gone because Facebook already knows who you are. So when you click that button, Facebook already knows who you are. They know where you are. They know what gender. They know what time zone. They have everything. All your information. So you don't have to verify any of that. They verify it by your Facebook page, by your Facebook profile. Okay? Right. So you see an ad. Let's say you sell an online course, or you sell consulting. Okay, that's the hard one. People think they can't do it with consulting, so let's take that one. Okay. So let's say I'm a consultant and I consult people on whatever productivity. Okay, VA services, virtual assistant services, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm consulting people, and I want to get leads. So I'm going to do a Facebook ad, and I'm going to get people's attention for the top 3 tools every online entrepreneur needs. Okay? Lots of people want to do that, right? They want to know what are the top 3 tools because I've got 50 million tools, right? And so what are the top 3 so I can get rid of all the rest? Yeah. So that's my lead magnet. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do a Facebook ad and say, get my top 3 tools that every entrepreneur needs for a successful business. And people click the button, and I tell them in the ad, I will deliver it in Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And when Messenger opens, click the Get Started button because Facebook does have this ugly page that you go to. And I don't know why they do it, but they do. It's an ugly page. It's blank white page. And at the very bottom of the page, it says Get Started. And that's how you do it. So I tell people in the ad, click the Get Started button at the bottom of the page, and I'll give you my top 3. Okay. So they click the button on the ad. They click the Get Started button, and boom, here they are in my bot. And basically that all my bot says is, thank you so much for joining me. Here's this PDF. I'll be chatting with you soon. That's all you have to do. And you give them the PDF, and then you go, okay, what do they need next? And then you start building out an actual funnel or an actual communication strategy with these people, because you already know they want the top 3 things that all entrepreneurs need, the top 3 tools. So what do they need next? What is the next thing that you need to impart to them, communicate with them to show your value? And that's the whole funnel part. But right now we're just talking about the lead generation. Now we just have that person interested, and we know exactly what they're interested in. They're interested in tools that entrepreneurs need. So now we can go beyond that. But that's only one way. Gabriel, you know there are many other ways that we can do lead generation in Facebook Messenger, right? If I have a Facebook business page, I can put a post on that page And here's another way with that exact same lead magnet that I can get leads. So I can say on my post on my page, hey, you know what? I've developed this, or no, I wouldn't even do that. I would ask people, what do you think are the top 3 tools that entrepreneurs need to be successful in online business? Comment below your ideas, your votes for the top 3 tools. And when you do, I will give you my thoughts and my top 3 tools from my experience, and I'll deliver it to you in Messenger. And that's called a Facebook comment tool. So we basically put that post on our Facebook business page, and we ask people to engage with us and share value. And when they do, just by commenting on that post, Messenger opens and we say, fantastic, thanks for sharing your views. Here's mine in this PDF. And we deliver the same thing. But in Facebook's eyes, that is so much more engaging. And that's exactly what Facebook wants. They don't want you to just do an ad and get a lead. They want you to engage an audience. So when you engage an audience like that, Facebook loves you even more. Because then what I do, I get, say, even 10 people, 15 people to comment on that post and share what their top 3 tools are. Then I can take that post and I can boost it as an ad. And when I do, Facebook and their wonderful heavenly algorithm can see that I have engagement already on that post, and they will share organically that post even more than they ask me to pay for reach on that post. So I've had clients who the first time they do this and we don't quite ask a really engaging question, and we boost that post, and Facebook organic reach, they give us 25% of the reach as organic, and we pay for 75% of the reach. But then the second time we got better and we were much more engaging with the question, like what I outlined already, and they boost that post for us organically. We get 75% of the reach is organic. We only had to pay 25%. And we're talking 4,000 people that we reached with boosting this post.
Oh, wow. So cool. Wow. That's crazy.
So everyone who comments, even when we boosted that post, everyone who comments is now a subscriber in Messenger.
Wow. That is so cool. So amazing. I mean,
and those are only 2 ways. We didn't even talk about
much more.
The comment, the customer chat box, right? So that little pop-up box on your website that says, can I help you? You can use one of those customer chats to get leads. Everyone who engages with that chat box when it says, how can I help you, is now subscribed to Messenger. There are just so many ways to engage with your audience and get subscribers that value what you have to say. And that's what it's all about in Facebook. It's not about scamming. It's not about just selling. It's not about scaling. It's not about any of those things. It's about engaging. It's about actually communicating one-on-one, but in a more automated way.
That is so well said, and such good examples. I think people are going to have to re-listen again to that right there to wrap your mind around this whole crazy new world. It is so awesome what you described, and it's not that hard. It's the technology is here, and people are getting these are real results, and like this is very, very practical. Like this stuff that Mary Kathryn just shared with us, like this is legit and happening. I just want to.
And it's not going away.
No.
I get that question a lot, Gabriel. Oh, it's going to go away. And what if Facebook shuts me down? And then I don't have that list. But if I have my email list, it's mine. I'm like, yeah. And only 20% of those people care at a twit about what you have to say. So what do you really own?
Yeah.
Yeah. Facebook can shut you down. But are you talking about
Facebook
pornography?
Going away?
Yeah. No. Are you talking about pornography? Are you trying to just scam people and share affiliate links? No. Then Facebook's not going to shut you down. Yeah. If you're a genuine, engaging, caring professional, you're fine.
Yeah.
And Facebook's not going away. They want to be like WeChat in China. And we can talk all about WeChat. But anyway, do some research on WeChat. And if you know what WeChat is, Facebook is mirroring that. It's not going away.
We have already now almost for 45 minutes, and I wanted to be respectful of what we said we were going to time we were going to record here. So before we go, I want to make sure that the audience knows how to connect with you. And it's clear that you're an expert in chatbots and in marketing and have a lot of things that could really help a lot of people. I know that you're such a genuine person who's full of knowledge, and you have a tremendous amount that you can share with people. And so I want to send as many people as I can over to you. And so what are some of the ways that people can connect with you? Some of the best ways, easiest ways that people can just go.
Yes, thank you so much. So, you first off, I'll give you a link that you can share if you have a show notes page of any kind. Yep. that they can just go to that show notes page and click. So that would be very easy if they're on a phone or a desktop. They can do that. Mm-hmm. But secondly, if they just want to email me, they can just email me directly. It's mkj@messengerfunnels.com. Best way to connect with me is on Facebook, obviously. And I got to tell you, Gabriel, I was a Twitter gal before this whole Messenger thing came up. I didn't like Facebook. I'm not a long storyteller. I don't share all my details of my marriage and, my kids throwing up or whatever. I just don't do that. And so I stayed away from Facebook. I was a Twitter gal. And that's another reason this Messenger thing clicked for me, is because it's like Facebook and Twitter had a baby. And I call it face tweeting now. I don't, it's because we want to do short, engaging messages. So I trained myself to communicate in that short way in Twitter, and it has done me good, because now I know how to communicate effectively and get right to the point, even though I'm long-winded in my talking, obviously. When I'm creating messages, it's like face tweets. So go to Facebook and find me on Facebook, Mary Kathryn Johnson. You can find me on Twitter at Messenger Funnel without the S. But, email me directly, go to messengerfunnels.com. But, I would say, I would put a challenge out there to your audience. Mm-hmm. If there's anyone listening and we have just absolutely scratched the surface, there is no way we can do this justice in a short period of time. Mm-hmm. If you are at all intrigued by the things that we've talked about, I would challenge Gabriel to say, contact him, make a comment on this post, or comment and subscribe on iTunes and comment there. Comment any way you can follow Gabriel, and tell him you want more information on chatbots, and he and I will do another episode. And that's all we will do. Right, Gabriel? Your game.
So exciting. Yeah, I love that.
And that's all we will do. We will only do a training on chatbots and take you through how this can work. And I'll go one step further. If you comment with some specific questions and scenarios that you want covered, we'll cover them. And we will answer those questions. We'll do a Q&A session and training type session to take you through this. So here's your challenge. If you're going to keep following squirrels and you keep following the squirrels, go for it. But I'm going to tell you, until you stop and you only follow one, and focus on that one and take action on that one, until you do that, you will continue to be frustrated. You will continue following guru after guru, looking for your solution, looking for your dream, looking for the quick fix. And I'm here to tell you, my quick fix happened in 14 years. So if you want to learn from those 14 years, I would say, stop following squirrels, pick one. And if it's chatbots, comment, and we will help you do that. Period.
Love it. So inspiring. Thank you for the challenge. And it's so exciting. So Mary Kathryn Johnson, thank you for sharing and taking the time. You're such a wealth of information. It's been so fun. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for coming onto my show. I appreciate that. And I look forward to working together and exploring this world of chatbots. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Okay. And everybody, please, I'm going to have all the links in the show notes. And go check out Mary Kathryn Johnson's stuff. Comment, like she said, give her a challenge. Participate in the challenge to learn more about chatbots if that's what you're interested in. So, and we'll just leave it there. Any last thing?
Oh, thank you. No, thank you so much. My entire business this last year has been built on networking with like minds and like hearts. And you are one of those people. So I so appreciate you reaching out and continuing to stay connected. I know we've chatted back and forth on Facebook and been in the same world together. And when you find people that resonate, make the effort to continue a relationship with them, and who knows where you'll go. So thank you, Gabriel, for inviting me. And I really enjoyed our conversation and can't wait to have another one.
All right. Talk to you soon. See you.